Good evening, good evening. This is a late episode. See the title, Sunday, special guest Sunday Night Football with EJ. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to appear. Not sure what came up, but maybe we'll have him next time. But let me get you the picks because we're kind of running late. We actually got an MLB game at 7:10, so put this one in first, and then I'll show you the NFL and we can come back to it. So we just got New York Yankees for the late game money line. New York Yankees are going to take on Detroit Tigers, and we're going to take them money line. If you want to put something else with it, we got a WNBA game. So we got Phoenix. We're going to take the spread because, the money line isn't very good with that one. So we'll take Phoenix spread for the WNBA. And we got the New York Yankees money line. So that's the Phoenix Mercury with the spread, which is minus 7.5. Then we got the Yankees money line. Then NFL, starting at 8 o'clock, we got Sunday Night Football. You got the New Orleans Saints. I want you to take the spread and the money line. SPD means spread. So now you understand Thai sports language. SPD is always going to be spread. I want you to go against the spread with the Green Bay Packers. So that means you're going to buy a point. So instead of it being 6.5, it's going to be 7.5. So they may lose by a touchdown, no more. So let's go back. Hurry up because you got about 10 minutes. The Yankees money line. After that, you're gonna do the Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA. There you're gonna take the point spread. Then for the NFL, we got the New Orleans Saints. We got point spread and money line because the money line for them is gonna be minus 105. The point spread is plus 105 for 1.5 points. So they'll cover that. They should win by a field goal at least. Green Bay. We're going to go plus 7.5. You can go plus 6.5, but I would do plus 7.5. I'm not sure. If you want to go money line, I would go money line, but I would stay away from that. But money line for Green Bay is plus 240. So if you're feeling froggy, you may more than double your money with the plus 240. And also the picks are in the description. If you need the picks, I'm going to leave them there for a second so you can look over them. And thank you, everybody, for liking, sharing, subscribing. Make sure you send it to everybody, to your friends, to your family members, and even the people that you don't like. Everybody wants to get some money. Maybe your haters are hating on you because they broke. You never know. But I thank you guys for tuning in. This is a great show. We're going to have a good show tonight. It's going to be quick, and we're going to get out of here so you guys can get your picks through. Okay, so one topic I want to touch on is NIL with college football. NIL. I was listening to an interview with Mike Gundy, which is the world-renowned former quarterback and then head coach for almost 20 years at Oklahoma State. He said that he's tired of players having their people and their agents and parents contact him during training camp. He said, whatever's your NIL deal that you negotiated from December all the way to July, that's what you're getting. No job in America can you sign a contract and then in the middle of the contract you decide you don't want to work and you want to not deliver on your end. We paid you, but now you want to say, oh, I'm not showing up to work unless you give me more money. That's being unprofessional. We say we want to treat the kids like professionals, but then we don't want to hold them accountable for being professionals, And I want you guys to comment if you're watching live or if you're watching it back. Do you agree with somebody, let's say you were an employer, somebody showing up to your job after you already paid them and they're saying that, hey, I'm not going to do my job unless you give me an extra 100,000 or extra 30,000. On the flip side, do you take the player side and say, hey, I'm not going to take the coaches or the NIL side because if I get hurt during the season, I can't negotiate in December. And not only with that, there's also a kid that played at Florida State that has a horror story. Let me get his name right. He's at Arkansas now. He was at Florida State. His name is Rodney. He was a former walk-on. He went all the way from being a walk-on to getting a scholarship, or he was up for a scholarship. He had a small NIL, I believe, at Florida State. Correct me if I'm wrong. And what ended up happening is an agent or someone got into his ear and said, hey, they're not treating you right. Go to FAMU, which that's already a bad move, going from Florida State to FAMU if you want a better education and an NFL chance. But fine. He goes to FAMU. Then less than a month later, he goes to Miami. This is all in the same spring and winter semester. Then he goes back to FAMU. Then after spring, he ends up at Arkansas. Long story short, he ends up with less than what he was promised. And he's saying that I regret it. And I wish I would have stayed at Florida State. So he doesn't hate Arkansas, but he just really feels like he made a mistake and it was life altering. You know, a lot of times we tell the kids to chase the bag, but are you chasing education? Are you chasing long-term success? Because now he's at Arkansas. It's not a winning program. No disrespect to them. I know they're SEC, but that's the problem. How's Arkansas going to beat Alabama, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Texas, LSU, Florida, you name it, you know what I mean? Versus at Florida State, you're in the ACC, you got a little bit of easier road. And, you know, now things are going to be hard from Rodney Hill. So if you can see right here, I'm telling you a field. You see the FAMU Rattler next to Rodney Hill? Well, if you click on Rodney Hill, you'll see all the different schools he's been to. See all of those schools? I don't know if you can see it. All of that's in the last year or so. You see the high schools, but he's been to Florida State. He's been to Florida A&M twice. He's been to Miami, and he's been to Arkansas within the last 12 months. So that's just a warning for anybody that's a parent. You got kids out there that's chasing after the money. You might want to worry more about the long-term ramifications. And also, if you missed the picks, let me bring it back up because I see some people coming in live. The picks are the New York Yankees, which, you know, that game's about to start in 10 minutes. The New York Yankees money line. And then you got the Phoenix Mercury for WNBA, their spread. And then for the NFL, you got a New Orleans Saints spread and money line. And then you got Green Bay Packers. It's going to be plus 7.5. So you're going to buy 1 point. So plus 7.5. If you didn't catch it, you can rewind it, or it's at the bottom in the description. I'll leave it up for a second. So you got New Orleans spread and money line, and then you got Green Bay plus 7.5. Then you got a New York Yankees money line, and then in the WNBA, you got a Phoenix Mercury spread. So I'm gonna leave that for a second, and then I just continue to talk about what we're talking about. So basically, yeah, with the NIL situation, it's a lot going on. A lot of kids are being promised money that they're actually not getting. So I know you guys may come from impoverished or underprivileged backgrounds, but you really got to think about the full thing when you start telling kids to ignore their education. Because I hear people say, forget school. It's about getting the bag. If you want to get a long-term bag, it's about having longevity. It's about, you know, building up equity with your school, because you can stay there and be a coach. You could be a GA. Like, it's no reason for you to go inside a D1 football program and ever be broke again unless you just don't have the knowledge. But part of it is you got to go with the right intentions. I know it's a lot of people like, oh, get them before they get you. You don't want to have that mentality. You know what I mean? But that's just my opinion, you know. So you guys let me know what you think about the NIL thing. Now, as far as SEC over and unders, we got a lot of over and unders with the SEC. So if you pull out your Hard Rock app, this is actually the last week to make preseason bets. What preseason bets are, these are basically what's going to happen before the season happens. So you'll have stuff like, let me show you in the Hard Rock app. So if you go to all sports, right here, I don't know if you can see it right here. If you click on all sports, you just scroll down, you'll see all kind of different sports. You're going to go to college football or NFL, and it'll show you the odds for the year. So for the SEC, it's loading up. Okay. So for the SEC, you got let's see, they got conference futures. It's taking a little bit of time. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah. So we got conference futures. You can pick who you think the SEC champ will be. So if you see, they got the different betting odds for SEC champs. So they got plus 175 for Georgia to win it, plus 325 for Texas to win it, plus 750 for Alabama and Ole Miss, plus 1,000 for LSU. It's plus 1,400 for Tennessee, plus 1,500 for A&M, Texas A&M that being. Then it's going to be plus 1,750 for Missouri. Then Oklahoma is going to be plus 3,000. Auburn's plus 6,000. Kentucky plus 10,000. Florida Gators plus 10,000. South Carolina plus 10,000. Arkansas plus 20,000. And that's where Rodney Hill is at. Mississippi State plus 25,000. And then Vanderbilt plus 50,000. So If you bet Vanderbilt to win the SEC, you put $100 down, you will get $50,000 plus your $100 back. So that's basically how it works when you see those pluses. But will Vanderbilt finally win the SEC championship? Who knows? They also have regular season wins. So in the SEC, the over and under for Alabama is 9.5. So if you go under 9.5, that would be minus 140. So I guess they don't think they're gonna hit that 9. They don't think they're gonna hit that 10, which is 9.5. Like, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, under 9.5 is minus 140. So I think they're thinking they're gonna hit 9. If they go over 9.5, which would be 10 or more, that's plus 120. Auburn is 7.5. Over would be plus 120. Under would be minus 150. Then you got the Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia is 10.5 wins. That's a lot of wins for preseason. So if you go under, then that would be plus 100 if they win under 10.5. So that would be basically if they win 10 games, that's plus 100. So going 10-2, that's plus 100. So 11 or more. So 12-0 or 11-0 is over, which is minus 125. So they predict they'll win these 11 to 12 games. Kentucky, 6.5. That's a good number. I don't know. I think they might squeeze out 7. Under 6.5 is minus 105. Over 6.5 is going to be minus 115. LSU, 9.5. Okay, that's a lot for LSU. So under 9.5 is minus 170. So they think they're going to win 9 or less. Whenever you see the minus, that's the way they're going. And then over 9.5 is plus 140. Mississippi State is 4.5. So under 4.5 is minus 190. And then over 4.5 is plus 150. So they think they're going to win 4 or less. Is what they're telling me with the minus. Okay, Missouri is 9.5. So under 9.5 is minus 155. And then over 9.5 is plus 130. Ole Miss, they got 9.5. Over 9.5 is minus 115. Under 9.5 is minus 105. So it seems like they're going more to the over because they got a minus 115 for them to hit over 9.5, which would be 10 wins or more. For Oklahoma, they're going kind of low. They're going at 7.5. I would take this. The over is minus 120, but the under is plus 100. I don't think they'll go under. I don't think it'll just be 7. Yeah. So you go over on Oklahoma. That's something that I'm confident in. Now, when you got South Carolina, we got 5.5. So over 5.5 is minus 120. So they think they'll probably go over. The under is plus 100. Now we got Tennessee. It's a lot of SEC teams. It's 8.5. Over 8.5 minus 170. Under 8.5 plus 145. So they're telling you they think they'll go over 8.5, which is 9 or more wins. Then we got Texas. Now keep in mind, Texas lost 2 running backs, got a freshman that's probably going to start, and they moved the wide receiver to running back. So I don't know about this line. They still left the line at 10.5, which means they're expecting 11 wins or more. So under 10.5 is minus 185. So I guess they think they'll go under. Over is plus 150. So since it's 10.5, anything under, you're going to get some money. But it's minus 185. So I don't know how much you get off of that. Because once it gets too far away from 100, going towards 200, you get less money. Okay, Texas A&M is 8.5. So over 8.5 gets you minus 120. Over 8.5 gets you minus 120. Under 8.5 gets you plus 100. Then Vanderbilt, 2.5. Can Vanderbilt squeeze out 3 wins? That's the question. Over 2.5 is minus 220. Minus 200. I'm sorry. Under 2.5, so if they only win 2 games, that's plus 160. I might take the chance and say they win 2 games. I don't know. But who knows if they're going to get 3? Because that would be like what? The non-conference games. I'm not sure their non-conference schedule. If they squeeze out some non-conference games and just 1 SEC game, Vandy's good for 1. You know what I mean? Like 1 SEC game, that would pretty much get them in there. So let me just take a look at Vanderbilt's schedule really quick and see what I think. I'm not going to do a prediction, but I'm just read off some of their games. So if you look at Vanderbilt's schedule for this year, they start off with Virginia Tech. They got Alcorn State. That could be 1 win. They got Georgia State. That's close, but that could be a win, but it's on the road. You got Ball State. So those are already 3 games that could probably put them over. That could probably put them over because I doubt that they'll lose to Alcorn State, Georgia State, and Vanderbilt. Because, see, if you do the over on 2.5, that's just 3 wins. Looking at the rest of the non-conference, I mean, in conference, they got South Carolina. That's kind of probably their weakest SEC game. They got Virginia Tech. That's not a weak game. So we'll see. We'll see with Vanderbilt. And then the last one is last 2. Okay, now it's tripping up on me. So we got Arkansas and Florida, but I gotta wait for the phone to load. Sometimes technology, it trips up on you. While we're waiting on that, let me start speaking on another issue. The Oakland Raiders actually chose their quarterback in the quarterback battle between Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. They went along with Gardner Minshew. And it seems like because they had similar stats last night against the Cowboys in the loss, the only difference was even though Aiden O'Connell threw a touchdown, he threw an interception. Versus Gardner Minshew did not throw an interception, and he also had a long ball. So he had less completions, but he had almost more yards based on completion. So I guess they feel like with the weapons they have, with Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers, along with Michael Mayer, they can do a lot. They can do a lot more with Gardner Minshew. Plus, he's mobile. But now Arkansas is 4.5. So over is -120. So I think they're leaning towards 5 or more wins. Under would be 4.5, which is plus 100. And now the big thing, I want everybody to look out for. Maybe I'm being biased. Maybe I'm a homer. Florida Gators. You see it? Florida Gators. They got them at 4.5. Can you see that? So if you go over 4.5, that's -155. So they're telling you that they just playing with you because it's -155 to go over. That means they expect at least 5 wins. That's why it's with the minus. Under is actually plus 125. Do not bet the under on 4.5 for Florida Gators. Do not do it. You're gonna lose your money. It's almost guaranteed. Okay, now back to what I was saying with quarterback competitions. The more famous quarterback competition is actually in Pittsburgh. I know someone that really feel like Pittsburgh Steelers are sorry. You get in the comment section and let the people know if you want them to know, because he always telling me how sorry they is. I think it's the offensive line, but similar to Oakland, similar to the Raiders, not Oakland, but Vegas. The quarterbacks were similar as far as stats yesterday, but the offensive line kept messing up. Justin Fields, neither Russell Wilson were able to score a point other than a field goal the whole game. So they lost like 9-3. It was a horrible game on Buffalo and Steelers. It messed up a lot of people's ticket because nobody believed that they would go another week in a row and not be able to score. But that's what ended up happening, So as far as the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's a lot going on. They have not chose their quarterback. I know most people have their quarterback together before the third and final preseason game, because it can be a dress rehearsal or it can be a rest the starters, depending on how much you played them in the first 2 games, in order for you to be prepared for your season. Because you want to know when you're getting ready to make cuts who your quarterback is, because you may want to cut or keep players based on the quarterback's preference or what works around him. But with them both being mobile guys, both being guys with nice arms, they're very similar. So I don't think it'll make a difference. We know both of them are going to stay on the team. So as far as the Justin Fields and the Russell Wilson battle, it may be over. I think they're probably just going to start out with Russell Wilson and then maybe pivot to Justin Fields if Russell doesn't play well, because that seems kind of like what the Raiders did, because Gardner Minshew started off the game, and I think it was kind of like, nobody really separated themselves, so we just go with the guy that started the game. I think they're gonna stick with Russell Wilson, but he may not be a permanent starter, depending on how he performs in their week 1 matchup. Week 1, Pittsburgh will actually be taking on they'll be taking on the Falcons at 1 p.m. on September 8th on Fox. So look out for that. Now, what's any other subjects we have? I thought we had, Athlon. It's a lot going on Athlon. We've had these different lists. I'm gonna get out of here. It's gonna be a short show after we touch on this topic. So I gave you the Heisman list. I believe we went over wide receivers, but I don't think we went over linebackers, because they're putting out a lot of lists as far as for the season preview. Who has the better positions? Matter of fact, maybe we'll do linebackers later. Let's just skip through running backs really quick, and I'm gonna let you guys up out of here. Okay, so Athlon's top running back groups for 2024. We got Ohio State with Travion Henderson that had 926 yards, along with the Ole Miss transfer Quinshawn Judkins, which over the last 2 years, he's had 2,725 yards and 31 touchdowns in his first 2 years as a true freshman and sophomore in the SEC, and now he's in the Big Ten. Then we got Penn State being led by Nicholas Singleton, along with Katron Allen. So Singleton had 1,061 yards in 2022, while Allen had 902 yards last fall. Then we got Georgia. The Georgia Bulldogs. They lost Kendall Milton along with Dewan Edwards, but they always reload. They went and got the Florida running back Trevor Etienne, which was a big play guy. He's very explosive. Probably remember his brother Travis that now plays for the Jags and used to play for Clemson. Etienne in his career has 1,472 yards and 14 touchdowns. I don't know why I was about to say interceptions. And then the best running back in the country, Ollie Gordon. Is he the guy that was threatening Oklahoma State's coach? I don't know, because we know he's the best running back and he's the only running back up for the Heisman so far. Ollie Gordon last year had 1,732 yards and 21 touchdowns, along with 330 through the air as far as receiving, and had 1 receiving touchdown. Then we go into Alabama. Their running backs weren't so strong last year, but that was because they didn't play the young guys. They're not young anymore. You got Jam Miller, sophomore. You got Justice Hayes, along with Richard Young, that's probably going to be a redshirt freshman. That bottoms out the top 5. After that, you got Kansas. Then you got UCF. Then Miami at 8. So it's a whole lot of the state of Florida. Then you got Kansas State at number 9. They really got what is his name? Dylan Edwards from Colorado. He transferred over along with the quarterback because he runs. That's why they made their older quarterback transfer Will Howard out, because they got a new guy in town that's very mobile. He runs around, he passes it. So look out for Kansas State. Then you got North Carolina. They always run well. Actually, they're 11. I skipped somebody. They're at 10. We got Liberty. So at 11 is North Carolina. Then we got Boise State at 12. And then at 13, we got Oregon. At 14, we got Florida State, led by Lawrence Tola-Philly, and also Cam Davis, the freshman I've been telling you about. He's actually second team on the depth chart. Florida State put out their official depth chart. And actually, I'm going to give you a bonus pick. I'm going to tell you who I'm picking for Florida State and Georgia Tech in a second, because that's going to be a Saturday game. Then we got West Virginia at 15. We got Ole Miss at 16. Ole Miss has transfers like Henry Parrish from Miami that originally was at Ole Miss. They also have Rashad Amos from Miami of Ohio. And then they also have Ulysses Bennett that's been there for about 2-3 years, but he originally came from, I want to say SMU or TCU. I think SMU, which is now an ACC school. Then you got Cal. Cal has one of the best running backs in all of the ACC. So look out for Cal. Then you got Texas. Even though they're down 2 running backs, they still put them in the top 20. So I guess they're going with the freshman that's a 5-star at Texas. And then you got Michigan. I feel like that's kind of low for Michigan, seeing that Donovan Edwards is actually on the cover of College Football 25. How can you have the cover guy of College Football 25 and he was like the MVP of the national championship, but he's a part of the number 19 running group? So you guys need to fix that. Plus, Michigan has a running quarterback, Alex Orji. So Donovan Edwards, Alex Orji, come on, man. There's no way with that option. There's no way they're only 19. And then you got Texas A&M at 20. So I do think they need to fix that list. They need to move Michigan up. I think Miami's in a good spot. I don't know if UCF is better than Miami. Miami has Martinez. They have Fletcher. They also have Jordan Lau, which was the number 1 running back recruit in the country last year, along with Chris Johnson, the fastest running back in the country. That's documented from real track times in high school in South Florida. I believe he run like a 10.2 or 10.4. He run a 2 fast. He don't even run a 10. He run a 2 fast. So basically, that's going to be the top running back groups. Tomorrow, I'll probably bring you back to the linebacker groups if I didn't touch on it. I think I did, but I can still review it again. Now, as far as this Florida State and Georgia Tech business, the line may move. They play games. The line may move. So this is not definitive. But as of now, As of now, we're not going to go money line because you're not going to make no money because everybody expects Florida State to win anyway. So what we're going to do for Florida State and Georgia Tech, which is the 12 o'clock game on Saturday, or is it 12:30? Hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, 12 p.m. Okay, see, the line was 13.5, and I was telling someone I don't think that's too many points. I make him work with this, even though it's still two touchdowns. They moved the line down to 11.5. They moved the line down to 11.5 for Florida State. So as of now, you can always get your money back and cash out, if it moves, but we could take that 11.5, but let me see what it'll be if you try to buy points. Okay, so yeah, with a lot of college football, they will not allow you to buy points. But as of now, the line is 11.5. So if you're feeling froggy, you can leap with that one. I approve that. That's going to be the show for the day. I thank everybody for tuning in. If you didn't see the cash app and the social media is down at the bottom, the cash app, please donate. Is on $TY Rebel22. The Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is at Ty Sports Picks 24. Now for the games, again, we got it just started, so you still can live bet. Money line the New York Yankees. Hurry up and do that. It's only been 10 minutes in. I don't think the line has moved yet. No, it hasn't. They're still plus 100. Okay, then you got NFL. You got New Orleans spread and money line. You got the Green Bay Packers. You can buy points for plus 7.5. For the WNBA, we got Phoenix Mercury spread. So we're taking Phoenix Mercury spread. We got the New Orleans Saints in the NFL spread and money line. We got Green Bay, which is going to be plus 7.5. Or you can take the 6.5, but I would take the second 7.5. And then you got the New York Yankees money line. Hurry up right away, do the New York Yankees money line. It just moved. So now it's minus 105, which is still great. But take them Yankees money line. So I'm going to show you again. We got the New Orleans Saints spread and money line. And we got Green Bay plus 7.5. And then in the WNBA, we got Phoenix for the spread. And then you got the Yankees money line. That's going to be my show for the day. I thank you guys for supporting. If you can't see it, you can scan it. Here goes the cash out. Please donate. It's going to be a $TY Rebel 22. I appreciate everybody sharing it. Send it to your friends and family. I thank you guys for helping the podcast grow. Also, my social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok are at TY Sports Picks 24. TY Sports Picks 24. It's all at the bottom. So you see the cash app if you'd like to donate, $TY Rebel 22. And the Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok is at TY Sports Picks 24. Thank you guys for joining me. Go Canes, go Seminoles, go Rebels, go Gators. We're going to be talking a lot as we get closer to the season. The season is only a week away, actually less than a week away if you're a Florida State Seminole. Let me take that down. So I hope you guys got the cash out information. If you guys are late, you can rewatch it. And let me show you the picks again one last time. We got the WNBA. We got the Phoenix Mercury on the spread. And then we got the New York Yankees money line. You can do that live right now. And then for the NFL, we got the New Orleans Saints spread and money line. And then we got the Green Bay Packers plus 7.5 by points. So I see some people in the live, so I'm going to leave it up for a second before we get out of here. And also, while you guys are copying that down, another topic I just wanted to touch on, because this may be a topic that I touch on further tomorrow. Let me pull it back up. I want to touch on teams that are really about winning. I spoke on it earlier in the week. The Chiefs played their starters. I believe tonight that the San Francisco 49ers are going to play their starters. Even Mike McDaniel played Tua Tagovailoa, which is the first time Tua ever played in the preseason since Mike McDaniel's been here. Do you guys think that starters should play in the preseason? And before you say no, think about Aaron Rodgers. He didn't play last year, and after 4 plays, he slipped and he got hurt. I've heard LaShawn McCoy say anytime he didn't play preseason, it took him a game or two to get the rust off. So do you feel like sitting out is smart, or do you feel like you guys should go out there and you should play? And I'm not saying you particularly, but the players in that you root for, Also, some guys for fantasy football that you should look out for. Of course, Tua is going to put up big numbers. Also, Tyreek Hill, because I know it's a lot of fantasy drafts. Think about guys like Breland Allen from the New York Jets, along with Breece Hall, Think about Aaron Rodgers. Think about Garrett Wilson. These are a lot of names you should look at. Jamar Chase. I'm trying to think of some guys that are underrated. Okay, Caleb Williams from the Chicago Bears. Definitely take him in fantasy drafts. This is just off the top of my head. I'm not even. We're gonna do a whole fantasy show maybe tomorrow, but it's a lot of guys you got to look at. Look at Kirk Cousins. Look at Drake London from the Falcons, because now that Kirk Cousins there, a lot of the Falcons skill position players are gonna go up. Think about Bijan Robinson from the Falcons. The Falcons offense is really gonna go. Think about the Baltimore Ravens defense. Let's think about Derrick Henry, because he's with Lamar Jackson. So him and Lamar Jackson should do well. I would have said Hollywood Brown, but he's hurt for the Chiefs. But you're always gonna go well with Travis Kelce. But a big guy, a secret for the Miami Dolphins. Shh, don't tell nobody. Jonnu Smith. We already saw him yesterday. He's doing reverses. He's running it. He's catching it. He's going to put up a lot of fantasy points. So if you do fantasy football, and yes, you can make money with fantasy football. I believe in most states, even where legal gambling is in there, fantasy football is not gambling. So you can make money with that. So think about that. Think about Matt Stafford with the Rams. It's just a lot of guys you want to look at, and also look at what their division is entailing as far as the defenses they're going to face. People that you probably don't want to take, you want to stay away from Pittsburgh, stay away from Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, but take Pittsburgh's defense, because their defense does shut people down. You also want to look out for you want to stay away from Deshaun Watson to Cleveland. Stay away from Cleveland. I wouldn't even take Amari Cooper because he's handicapped by his quarterback. But take Gardner Minshew for the Raiders. As long as he's in there, you can get him late rounds. Take him in Devontae Adams, because Gardner Minshew is a gunslinger. So as far as fantasy football, Gardner Minshew is definitely a guy you want to take. Let's think of some more guys. I'm doing this off the top of my head. I'm just thinking of different cities. Okay, C.J. Stroud. You already know about C.J. Stroud. You already know about Tank Dell. You know about Nico Collins. Nico, you probably can get him in the later round of fantasy. But also, a lot of people talk about Stephon Diggs fell off. No, you fell off a ladder and bumped your head if you think Stephon Diggs fell off. That dude is a problem. And the fact that they're dissing him, that's going to make him go even more crazy. I saw how he's been being into it. He always in his quarterback face. He talking to him on the sideline. He really wants the ball. He's like Keyshawn Johnson in 1999. Remember when Keyshawn said, just throw me the damn ball, when he wrote that book? I don't know if you guys remember that. That's Stephon Diggs today, So it's a lot of guys you want to look out for. Who you want to stay away from? Josh Allen and Buffalo Bills. He doesn't have any wide receivers. I thought Coleman, the rookie from Florida State, would show up. He was dropping balls yesterday. Butterfingers, peanut butter fingers. So stay away from Buffalo as far as fantasy goes. Stay away from the running backs in Buffalo. I would just stay away from Buffalo. Stay away from the Patriots, offense and defense. It's going to be a rough year for them. Who else should you stay away from? Carolina. Stay away from them. Don't even waste your time as far as fantasy football. Dak Prescott, I would wait. We want to see if he's going to get CeeDee Lamb back, because Dak's there, but CeeDee Lamb is not there. But take Dallas defense. Dallas defense shut down Oakland. I keep saying Oakland, Vegas with the second string. Dallas defense has been on fire all preseason long. If you look at it, if you saw what happened with the Rams, when you saw what happened with the Raiders, it's happening over and over and over. And it's because of Mike Zimmer, the old defensive coordinator. He was there with Dion back in the day. He always speaks up on him. He's been there in Minnesota back when they had Xavier Rhodes and them guys and Harrison at safety. The Dallas defense is nothing to play with. They like Wu-Tang Clan. They are nothing to play with. You understand? So take them in fantasy. Who else should you take that's being slept on? We still going to ride with our guy Geno Smith up there in Seattle. The Seahawks are something for real. Also, I don't like the quarterback in Tennessee, but it's too many weapons. You got Calvin Ridley. You got DeAndre Hopkins. And you have, who else do they have? Tyler Boyd. So I'll take all three of those wide receivers. Just take a Tennessee wide receiver. If you see a Tennessee wide receiver, take him. Also, Brock Bowers, the rookie tight end over there in Vegas for the Raiders. He's a problem. I would also take Michael Mayer, his tight end running mate. And I keep wanting to say Oakland with the Raiders. So as far as fantasy football, I dropped a lot of names. We'll probably have our fantasy show sometime this week. Let's stay away from the Eagles for right now, but rock with the Eagles defense. But as far as the offense, Jalen Hurts, I'm not so sure about them. Take my guy DK Metcalf up there with the Seahawks. He should do some big things. Okay, and another guy you guys probably never heard of from Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love. Take him and take his wide receiver Watkins. A lot of people don't know about Watkins. Take him as far as fantasy football. I love you guys. That's my show for the day. If you didn't get the picks, here goes the picks again. You got New York Yankees money line. You got Phoenix Mercury's for the point spread, and then you got the New Orleans Saints for the point spread, and you got the Green Bay Packers plus 7.5. So you're gonna buy points. So that's gonna be my show for the day. Remember, you can donate at the Cash App. It's $TY Rebel 22, and then you got the Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, which is at TY Sports Picks 24 on all social media platforms. So you got New Orleans spread and money line, Green Bay plus 7.5. You got the Yankees money line, and then you got the Phoenix Mercury spread. So I hope you guys got the picks, and that's gonna be the show.